Hello, it's 10 p.m. in Accra, midnight in Cape Town, South Africa, and 3 a.m. Sunday in Pyongyang, South Korea. This is News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Adisawi Kanda in Accra. I'm Stephen Nt. You can follow our live stream on Facebook and 3news.com. Let's first take a quick look at the day's major news highlights. Tension is heightening at Binduri district of the Upper East region over the location of the district assembly. Residents are cautioning government to rescind its decision to relocate the assembly from Binguri to Binduri. And the Ghana-Togo Solidarity Movement has called on the President Akufo-Addo to intervene in the ongoing political standoff in Togo. The convener of the movement, Bernard Mona, at a meeting in Accra, says the President must intervene in order to prevent Ghana becoming a home of Togolese refugees. And government has completed negotiations for the deployment of 8,700 CCTV cameras in all 216 districts across the country. The CCTV cameras in the Alpha Project Phase 2 will be linked to the 3 command centers in Accra, Kumasi and Tamale to fast-track crime detection and crime fighting processes. On construction of a CHIPS compound to provide health care for residents at Tetegu in the South municipality has stalled at the roofing level. The building is currently being taken over by town folk. A Deputy Minister for Health, Tina Mensah, who is also the MP for Wejagbawe, claims not to be aware such a facility existed. And elsewhere, a top religious cleric has said Saudi women should not have to wear the abaya, a long, loose-fitting robe used to cover their bodies in public. Sheikh Abdallah Al-Mutlaq, a member of the Council of Senior Scholars, said women should dress modestly, but this did not have to mean wearing the abaya. Those were our major news highlights. Remember, we're streaming live on our Facebook page and on 3news.com. Up next is a big one. Right, let's start with our very first story. Schools in Fuasi and in the Echimakwa District Assembly of the Ashanti region have been ordered to close following clashes between the police and residents, which left 2 people dead. Wednesday evening's clashes erupted when police attempted to prevent irate youth from engaging in violent demonstration against the relocation of the district capital from Fuasi to Chidie. Here is a report by correspondent Benjamin Adu.
The Achimankwama district was carved out of the Bosomtwe Achimankwama district almost a decade ago. The district capital was sited at Fuasi, but a court ruling in 2012 directed that the capital be relocated to Chidie. District Chief Executive Nanawa Chiriteria on Wednesday visited the Fuasi Hines Palace to inform him about preparations to move the new district capital to Chidie. Minutes later, angry residents of Fuasi trooped to the district assembly office and disrupted work. They blocked the main road leading to the town, locked up the DCE and vandalized property. The police dispatched 2 teams to the town to restore order. 2 residents died from gunshot wounds, while 15 others, including police personnel, were injured in clashes which ensued between the residents and police. A day after the incident, the district assembly office block and schools at Fuasi remained closed. Some youth were still demonstrating when TV3 arrived in the community. This resident, Samson Kujobuafo, says the relocation of the district capital is unacceptable.
The
president should resolve this issue amicably.
The chief of Fuasi, Nana Bedi Akwapia Ampam, also expressed disappointment at the relocation of the district capital to Chedie.
The authorities must come together to ensure the matter is resolved peacefully.
Security has been beefed up at the District Assembly office block and along major streets within Fosse to avert further violence. Ashanti Regional Deputy Police Commander DCOP Fred Eduenim, who confirmed the number of casualties, said the Police Regional Command has started investigations into the matter.
Let's get on to the telephone lines and speak with George Balfour, who is a local government expert, joining us on the telephone lines now. Right, I'm afraid that we don't have George Balfour. We lost him on the telephone lines. We'll try and bring him on so we can continue the discussion. And now tension is brewing at the Binduri district of the Upper East region over the location of the district assembly. Residents are cautioning government to rescind its decision to relocate the assembly block from Binguri to Binduri.
The Binduri district was created in 2012, with its assembly block temporarily closed down at Bazwa owing to lack of accommodation. The assembly block was relocated to Binguri in 2014. However, government is again proposing its relocation to Binduri.
The regional minister called on me and told me that he had come to inspect a land for the construction of an office for the Binduri District Assembly. I applauded that initiative. I thought it was an additional office for the assembly. To my surprise, he told me it wasn't so.
When this government assumed the reins of power, some elements of the new patriotic party in the Binduri constituency started scheming for the relocation of the district administration from Binguri to Binduri. Roxanne Ayene Bukari stormed the Binduri Chief's Palace with a battalion of military and police officers on the 1st February 2018 to reinforce what we all thought was a joke.
At a press conference, residents explained they were shocked at government's decision to relocate the assembly.
The land belongs to somebody in Binduri here. It is the chief, the Tengdana. The Tengdana is here. I asked him, do you know about it? He said no. I, the chief, I don't know about it. Who gave you that land to go and build a new office for the Binduri District Assembly? They couldn't answer it. It is not about politics. It is not about tribal sentiments who want to throw Binduri into chaos, into fire. And I will not accept it.
One electoral area and under one assembly member, therefore no differences in locations. We wish His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo to call on the Honorable Regional Minister Roxanne Ayene Bukari and all those who are behind this shameful act to desist from it, else we may be compelled to act in a way that may not augur well for the peace and security the Binduri district is enjoying at the moment.
Chief Akoli Bila and his subjects want the decision reversed.
Now, it is emerging that the military officer who died alongside Ebony in the accident, Francis Achu Vondi, has a strong music background. While some believe this is what connected him to the dancehall songstress Ebony, the family maintains they are unaware of any such link between the two. Solomon Mania has more in the following report.
Lance Corporal Vondi Francis Achu attended Sugakope Senior High School, Sugasco, after which he was recruited into the fire service. From the fire service, he got into the armed forces as an Air Force officer serving as a leading aircraft man. Before his demise on Thursday, he had completed his training at the School of Trade at the Burma camp after writing his last paper on Wednesday. He had been promoted from a Lance Corporal position 3 weeks ago and was waiting for it to take effect. TV3 sources indicate that the body arrived around 8:30 p.m. on Friday and was received by his direct commander, 3 of his colleagues and some family members. Information reaching TV3 indicates the remains of the soldier Achu Vondi is likely to face a court-martial by the Ghana Armed Forces because the Air Force had not officially deployed him for bodyguard duties. Regarded, his attire and boots have been put under arrest. Meanwhile, managers of Ebony Rains have denied knowledge about the driver and the soldier. They also insist the songstress does not own the Grand Cherokee Jeep that had the accident. The family of the soldier have also debunked claims that the dancehall artist Ebony had been working closely with the soldier. They, however, conceded the soldier was a talented instrumentalist and played at the Evangelical Presbyterian Church. Videos of the soldier singing have since emerged.
All around in yourself, they will help you feel okay. When you pray for strength to help you carry on. When the troubles come your way.
Ebony, whose real name was Priscilla Opoku Kwatin, was returning from Sunyani after visiting her mother, who had returned from the UK when the jeep she was traveling in crashed into a bus. Ebony was traveling with 3 other people when the accident occurred, killing everyone but the driver. The 3 occupants, identified as Francisca Nkansa Kuri, aged 27 years, Priscilla Opoku Kwatin Ebony, and Lance Corporal Von D. Francis Achu, aged 28 years.
All around in yourself, they will help you feel okay. When you pray for strength to help you carry on. When the troubles come your way.
May their souls rest in peace. Pretty sad development there. But our colleague Komla Kluche went to Adidome, the hometown of the fallen soldier. But we'll go to that later. But let's go back onto the telephone lines and speak with George Cheba, for local government expert in the situation where tension is said to be rising in Binduri district in the Upper East region, where residents are cautioning government to rescind its decision from relocating the assembly block from Binguri to Binduri. Good evening, sir. Thank you. We're grateful for your time. So I know this issue of relocating district assembly block and district capitals and all of that have been raging for a while. There is a situation in Fwasi, and now there is a similar situation in Binduri and Binguri. Tell me, what factors come into mind when a decision is made to locate a district capital?
Well, thank you very much, and greetings to your cherished viewers. As far as I'm aware, the siting or location of a district capital of a particular district must necessarily be rooted in law. An assembly which is set up by the president must have a legislative instrument or an establishment instrument which will indicate its district capital, determine the number of electoral areas within the assembly, and then also determine where, the functions of the assembly, as well as other ancillary activities related to the assembly. So necessarily, it must be legal for a district capital to be cited.
So this week, like I said, this week there have been clashes in Chuma Kwahoma district of the Ashanti region after a court in 2012 ordered the relocation of the capital from Fwasi to Chidie. And also, I have also mentioned the tension in Binduri over moves to relocate the capital. Will you say reactions in these two instances are justified?
Well, I am not very privy to the circumstances leading to the Binduri issue. But as far as I'm concerned, in respect of the Chedie one, I am aware that the district capital has been effectively determined under the establishment instrument of the Chuma Kwahoma District Assembly. And then there was some misunderstanding between, I believe, Chedie and Trede or something at the time of the establishment of the assembly. And for that matter, some compromise arrangement was made that then the capital ought to be cited at Fwasi. Then the people of Trede went to court to seek redress in the context of the establishment instrument, that once the law had determined that the capital ought to be sited at Sede. There was no point in relocating it to Fuansi. And the matter has, prolonged over several years. The Supreme Court ultimately made a definitive decision and decided that it should be sited at Sede. So now there's an authoritative decision by the highest court of the land. So I think that those who took the decision, had to comply with the ruling of the Supreme Court.
Right.
And for that matter, they had no option. But perhaps the modus operandi of undertaking the implementation of the Supreme Court decision maybe has some problems, because I believe if they had done a stakeholder consultation and explained the rationale and perhaps even read out the Supreme Court's ruling and decided on some compromise measures, maybe that it would have worked. But the Binduri one, I'm not sure what the situation is, but if the establishment instrument had located the district capital, I don't think it would be legal for anybody to tamper with the instrument until it is amended.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chejibafo. George Chejibafo is a local governance expert. Let's go back to the story of Francis Achu Vondi, the soldier who died alongside Ebony Rains in that deadly accident Thursday. My colleague Komla Kluche was at Adidome in the Volta region, the hometown of the late soldier. He spoke on News 360 by first telling us about the late Achu Vondi. Right, we apologize for lack of sound. I think we had technical challenges there with here in Komla Kluche. This is still News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Adesawi Kanda in Accra, and I'm Stephen Enti. We'll be right back with more news. Please stay. Welcome back. Now, government has completed negotiations for the deployment of 8,700 CCTV cameras in all 216 districts across the country. The CCTV cameras in the Alpha Project Phase 2 will be linked to 3 command centers in Accra, Kumasi and Tamale to fast-track crime detection and crime fighting processes.
The state of the nation's security has come under public scrutiny following the spate of targeted killing of police and other security personnel on lawful duty. Lack of logistics, equipment and appropriate infrastructure, among others, came to fore in the public discourse. But the government of President Akufo-Addo says these challenges would no longer be the case.
In line with our plans to equip the police better, at least the rollout of Phase 2 of the Alpha Project, which will involve the deployment of 8,700 CCTV cameras in all 216 districts, with 3 command centers in Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale.
The President, in his message at the commissioning of the Police Cadet Corps 47, read for him by the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Baumia, touched on plans to retool the police.
1,000 new vehicles will be procured for the service this year. Resources have been allocated for police kits, including protective gear, and adequate quantities of other essential equipment, including guns and ammunition.
Right, let's get onto the telephone lines and speak with security analyst Sani Adib. Ms. Adib, thank you very much. 8,700 CCTV cameras. Is this really crucial in the fight against crime?
Well, a very good evening to your viewers. I think it's a giant step in the right direction because at the dawn of the new millennium, countries all over the world have had to resort to the usage of CCTV to first and foremost, to deter crime. Okay, when you go to countries such as the UK, London has the largest number CCTV cameras in the world, and it's really worked for them because every corner of London you go, there are CCTVs, and it seeks to, like I indicated, deter crime in the first place. But my question with the Ghanaian situation is, why now? We seem to, as it were, be reactionary rather than being proactive in approaching issues of security.
But Mr. Sani Adib, I mean, if you say reactionary instead of being proactive, which of the measures is good? You just mentioned that in London, for example, it's the most watched city ever in the world, and they're being able to tackle crime head on. So is in your estimation, their approach proactive?
I don't think it's proactive because we've had to wait for a number of criminal acts to be conducted, resulting in the deaths of countless people, including security agencies. I mean, I'm not seeking to bastardize this idea, but it leaves certain legitimate questions about our security preparedness to dealing with the myriad of complex and transnational crimes that is currently ongoing with the issues of terrorism, etc. But rather, we had to wait until there was a shooting incident at Kolebu Hospital before we started thinking of installing CCTV cameras. I mean, this is something that has been adopted by so many countries. Even
but it has to be done.
Of the new millennium.
It has to be done some way, somehow, isn't it?
Now?
It has to be done some way, somehow, isn't it? And there really wouldn't be any perfect timing.
Well, like I indicated, we had to wait until things spiral out of control before we do it. But I mean, I'm not seeking, like I indicated, to bastardize what is being done. It's a good step in the right direction. But we should have thought about this some time ago. For me, I mean, it is good as in the sense that it will aid the law enforcement agencies and, of course, the criminal justice system.
Right, Ms. Adib, I'm afraid we have to go. We're grateful for your time. Sani Adib is a security analyst. Thank you very much. I really hope that we could have continued this discussion. But that's how we wrap up with News at 10. I'm Stephen N.T. Thank you extremely for making time. There is more news at 3news.com. Good night and enjoy your weekend.